Hello and a very warm welcome to the Sacred Womb podcast, where we talk about all things to do with befriending our menstrual cycle, deeply healing both our feminine and masculine aspects, and how we can indeed utilise our cyclical nature as a natural spiritual pathway that's encoded within our bodies. I'm your host, Melanie Swan, and you can also go to thesacredwomb.com for more information and loads of fantastic free resources. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 22 of the Sacred Womb podcast. Thank you so much for your feedback on this process of how to manifest with the menstrual cycle. I had a great email from Katie who suggested that I make this process into an app. So I accepted the challenge, and I think that's a fantastic idea. Thank you, Katie. And I'm going to make an app out of this, but I'm starting from scratch on the technical knowledge. So do post in the Sacred Womb private Facebook group if you have or know anyone with any experience, because I'm starting this from point zero, and it's going to be a learning experience for me, but I'm embracing it and ready to go. So if you do have any contacts, do let me know. So that's coming soon, the Sacred Womb, How to Manifest with the Menstrual Cycle app. And welcome also to the increasing amount of new listeners, and indeed those who have been listening for a while and implementing these steps. I really, really appreciate your ear and your support and your commitment to yourself. And so on this episode, we come to part 6 of this 7-part series on how to manifest with the menstrual cycle. And this phase is dissolving. So this podcast today, I'm going to focus on dissolving. And just a little note here, I'm recording this in my hotel room in the Austrian mountains. I've been here for a couple of weeks now. So you might hear a little bit of unusual background noise, some knocking or some fans or something. But I did want to get this to you and to record it here, as it's a very apt place to record the Dissolving podcast. The snow it's only February, and the snow is dissolving right in front of my eyes. The sun is melting it, and there's been rain, which is highly unusual for this time of year. So the rain is starting to wash the snow away. And I'm highlighting this because it's just a part of nature, the changing planet, the changing seasons. And the snow is dissolving, and that's part of nature, and dissolving us is part of our nature too, and our natural process that is our menstrual cycle. So if you're interested, I'll post some pictures in the Sacred Womb private Facebook group of where I'm at, where I'm recording this. There's some gorgeous, gorgeous views here, and you can see that snow melting in action. Okay, ladies, so we come to dissolving, and the last step before this was aligned action. So just to recap and set the scene again, when we set our intention, our psyche gets to work on that intention. It goes on in the background. And then when we start to take aligned action in our lives that supports the development of our intention, that intention starts to grow. Our psyche feels that. It feels that response, and our intention starts to grow. And this is a cellular process. This isn't just a mind process when we're working with our menstrual cycle. It's an embodied process. So we feel it with our body, our mind, our spirit, our soul. And so what happens is our fears come up. We come to the edge of our comfort zone because we're commonly trying to create, manifest something that is beyond what we've created or thought we could create before. So our intention is usually something or state of being that we want or we want to get to. And it's usually based on some sort of note of love or harmony or expansion. And so whatever doesn't match that within our body, within our psyche, is going to be highlighted. Or to put it another way, the higher vibration of our intention, based on love, starts to push out the lower vibration of fear that has stuck emotions stored in our body. So that these might be old emotions, belief systems, things we've absorbed, limitations that we think we have. These start to get dislodged in the body. And this is great. This is fantastic. That actually means our process is working. However, but what commonly happens is that when we feel these fears starting to come out of our body, as I said, they're often old emotions and beliefs and limitations. We feel that they're real. We experience them now. And they are real. They were real. But when we experience them in the now, we can get lost in a sort of quagmire of old emotions. And we think they're real. And what we can do is stop the process and think, oh, this is useless. This isn't working. What the bloody hell was she on about? I can't do this. So I wanted to give you an example of this. So say I want to get fit. So my reflection was I'm coming towards my premenstrual stage in my menstrual cycle. I'm thinking, I feel a bit grotty. I haven't exercised enough this month. In fact, for the last few months, I feel really crap. I don't, my muscle tone is going, don't like it. That doesn't work for me to not exercise. So I really want to exercise. The rest and let flow stage was to, just release the frustration with myself, also realize the frustration with myself, and let my body rest as well, and release and go into that internal zone, and just let my emotions flow and come out. And then I'm left with this clear, deep space where I can really hear myself. I think, what is it I do want? What's going to really help me get fit? What's really going to help me to physically get stronger in a way that's very, very useful for me? And so in this particular instance, I decided, actually, Hatha yoga is great. My body always feels great after it. I feel a lot of resistance at the beginning, but actually when I do Hatha yoga, God, I feel great. I have more productive days. So that's the envisioning part of, that I'm getting clear that's what I actually need. So then at the beginning of my menstrual cycle, when I've just stopped bleeding, so that's usually around day 5 for me, I set my intention, I want to develop a regular yoga practice, a regular Hatha yoga practice. So that's weekly, every other day. I'm going for something that's reachable, not like every day for 3 hours. I'm going to say, I can do 20 minutes every other day, and that feels reachable to start off with. So what's my aligned action? I join an online yoga site where I get new videos, and I can do that in my home. I make it as easy as possible for myself. I've already got a yoga mat, so I dust that off and I start practicing. I start doing 20 minutes every other day. In fact, I start finding that 20 minutes is easy. I can do 30 minutes. The next day I feel like, my body wants to stretch and bend, and I'll give this another go. Then I do another 30 minutes and I start to feel better. I do this for maybe 10 days. Then I come up against this, I'm too busy, my muscles ache a little bit. I don't really want to do this. Then I create busyness for myself, and that's a lovely excuse. I just don't have time. And even more of an excuse, and kind of, I could call it partly a reason as well. I'm snowboarding for a few hours a day. So I don't want to get up and stretch as well, but it would be very helpful because my muscles are really quite tight. So what comes up for me is this core belief that I can't maintain an exercise routine. Now, I want to be clear that this is not a belief that, I exercise in tune with my menstrual cycle, so I might do more in the first half, maybe more weight training in the second half, and really going down to my menstrual cycle. I just go for walks. So it's not that. It's just this belief that I start and I can't keep it up, or I don't keep it up, which has been partly my experience. So this fear comes up. And what I could do is think, yeah, that's me. That's what I do. That's real. However, I know that's not true. If I feel into my core, I've really envisioned and spent time with myself and my menstrual cycle and my womb centre, it's going to help me. It's going to help me. I know I can do it. I have this feeling from when I envisioned, I can do this. So what I decide is, this is something from my past. These are just old limitations. And of course, I'm doing yoga, and that's a very physical, visceral way to bring stuff up and out of my body. So what I do, and this is the dissolving part, is firstly just take a breath. These are just my limitations coming up. Fair enough. No problem. And then what I do is I sit with myself and breathe deeply, which helps to move emotion anyway. Emotion is just energy and motion, and I want to keep that flow going. So I breathe nice and deeply, just center myself and go, fears, I welcome you. So I'm not trying to suppress them. I'm not trying to let them go, which rarely works. I'm embracing them. I'm embracing my own flow of energy that is carrying some emotional charge from the past. Fair enough. That's all it is. And I find when I welcome, I actually say out loud, fears, you're welcome here. I welcome you. And this is something I learned from a meditation by Inelia Benz. It's really, really effective and really simple way to process our fears in the moment when they come up. And they naturally release. So I really want to be clear that I'm not trying to let it go. I'm embracing my fear. That part of me, that old emotional charge, I'm breathing and I'm letting myself flow, and these emotions come up and out. If I try and suppress them, they'll only come up next cycle with a vengeance. So when they're present, I really want to deal with that and give that myself priority there and then. So I breathe, I say, you're welcome here. And then I try and express, let that energy express itself as freely as it wishes, in whatever form that wishes. I might draw, I might walk, I might make a sound. In fact, that commonly works for me, just to make a sound, whatever noise. And I just really say to that fear, please express yourself as fully and freely as you wish. And I experience and watch that process. So I'm present with that process, and I also know that I'm more than those feelings. Okay, so that can be a really tricky point, as I'm not trying to feel equanimous to them and push them away and feel very distant. I'm trying to feel them as much as they need to be felt until it pops. Then I get relief, and then it just disperses. Really, this is just getting charge out of the body. And as that intention grows, our aligned action kicks in, that charge just comes out if we can embrace it and embrace that process and keep our flow going and be present with it. Not the easiest thing, but if we can try, if we have awareness that happens, and we have a little tool to deal with that fear, then it can be a smoother, easier process. It does smooth the bumps along the way, and we can continue round the cycle of creation to realization, which I'll be talking about next week. So I hope that makes sense. Any questions, do post in the Sacred Womb private Facebook group. It's totally free. That's what it's there for. Tag me. I will answer you. I'd love to hear what you your reflections and how you feel about these podcasts. I've got some great ones coming up. I'm interviewing Alexandra Pope, who's got a new book coming out with Shani, and I'm also interviewing some other lovely women that have created books and other menstrual products that are helping us to awaken to our menstrual cycle and work with our cycle. Fantastic. So folks, that's all for today, and I will see you next week for the last of this 7-part series, Realization. Bye for now. I really hope you enjoyed the podcast and that you got some useful tips out of it that can make a genuine difference in your daily life. And if you'd love to work deeper with this stuff, then do head on over to thesacredwomb.com, where you can sign up to receive the weekly newsletter and an invite to our private Facebook group, where you can share, learn and grow with like-minded women in a safe, supported space. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do leave us a rating, and your comments are very, very welcome. And I'll see you next time.